Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. 3 center options for the Steelers after Nate Herbig's injury. The Pittsburgh Steelers could be without interior offensive lineman Nate Herbig for a significant amount of time. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette's Jerry Dulac reported on August 18 that Herbig has suffered a torn rotator cuff. ESPN's Brooke Pryor reported that the Steelers are seeking a second opinion, but the injury could rule out Herbig for the entire 2024 season. Even with Herbig, the Steelers don't have much proven depth at center on their roster. Herbig hasn't played center in an NFL regular season game since 2021, although he has primarily worked at center with the first-team offensive line this summer. Herbig landing on injured reserve would be bad news for the Steelers. Here are the team's options to try and overcome the significant potential loss. The most likely way the Steelers replace Herbig is with Frazier, who is Pittsburgh's long-term solution at center. The Steelers selected Frazier at number 51 overall in this past spring's draft. Many draft analysts, including NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah, called Frazier a day one starter. Although that wasn't necessarily the way it was trending in training camp, Frazier appears capable of starting right away. Zach's a hard worker, Field said of Frazier, via Pryor. He's humble, doesn't say much, but boy, he works. So glad to have him on the O-line, and I mean, he's a strong boy. If the Steelers simply move Frazier into the starting center spot, the bigger question is who will provide depth if Herbig misses the rest of the season. Ryan McCullum has experience at center, but he hasn't played in the NFL regular season since 2021 and wasn't guaranteed to make the Steelers roster prior to Herbig's injury. Spencer Anderson and Mason McCormick are Pittsburgh's best interior line options currently on the roster. Both are projected to be backup guards on the roster this fall. The Steelers drafted Anderson in the 7th round of the 2023 draft and McCormick in the 4th round this year. The Steelers surprisingly released veteran center Mason Cole in February. Although he didn't play well in 2023, Cole's release was surprising because it left the Steelers without an experienced center on the roster. That's why Herbig moved to center, to give the Steelers another option besides Frazier. But without Herbig, Pittsburgh general manager Omar Khan could consider bringing back Cole. He remains a free agent, so he will likely be cheap and could accept a backup role if the Steelers still prefer to roll with Frazier. Cole started 35 games, including the playoffs, for Pittsburgh from 2022 to 23. He also started 39 games for the Arizona Cardinals and Minnesota Vikings prior to signing with the Steelers in March 2022. Cole would provide valuable depth, experience, and familiarity for the Steelers. Khan has yet to entertain the possibility of bringing back Cole on a cheaper deal this summer. So, it's possible that the Steelers have simply moved on from the 28-year-old. If that's the case, there are a few other free agent center options they could consider. The Steelers could try and tempt Corey Linsley not to retire. To do that, though, the Steelers will likely have to guarantee a starting role to Linsley, who made first-team All-Pro in 2020. That's unlikely. Bill Belichick praises Steelers OC Arthur Smith. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been at the center of a lot of criticism through 2 weeks of the preseason. They have lost both games to the Houston Texans and Buffalo Bills, respectively, and have only put up 15 points in the process while both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields have failed to produce touchdowns. However, the greatest coach of all time says it isn't time to worry in Pittsburgh. While appearing on the Pat McAfee Show, former New England Patriots head coach Bill Belichick said the Steelers' biggest issue is not the quarterback position. I think they have bigger problems than the quarterback position, Belichick said. The offensive line has had a hard time at being consistent there. They lost Troy Fautanu, so they got Broderick Jones over there playing right tackle. They have a rookie center, too. The 6-time Super Bowl winning head coach also defended Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. I think Arthur is a good fit, he's a really good coach. I think he'll get a lot out of this team. It may take a little while, but I think the sooner the offensive line can come together and create some consistent run lanes for the backs so that they're not in long yardage situations. They can stay on track on first and second down, give Russell Wilson a chance to get the ball down the field. I think that's their formula to win. The Steelers will conclude their preseason this Saturday against the Detroit Lions before gearing up to take on the Atlanta Falcons in Week 1. Steelers push to sign ex-49ers 39-game starter right now. Injuries have begun to mount for the Pittsburgh Steelers at nickel cornerback. Veteran Grayland Arnold was lost to the injured reserve with a calf injury, while projected starter Beanie Bishop Jr. missed the second preseason outing with a hamstring. Although Bishop is not expected to be out long, bringing in new competition for the undrafted rookie wouldn't be the worst idea after losing Arnold. One free agent option could be veteran cornerback Kwaun Williams. Bleacher Report's Alex Ballentine pushed the Steelers to sign Williams right now on August 19. Undrafted free agent Beanie Bishop Jr. appears to be on track to start for the Steelers at slot cornerback, Ballentine wrote. It's a cool story for the 24-year-old and an opportunity for Pittsburgh to potentially find a diamond in the rough. It's still a bit scary to be relying on a UDFA from Week 1, though. The NFL analyst acknowledged that there aren't a lot of great slot options left on the free agent market, but it might be worth it to see what Kwaun Williams looks like. He added that the slot specialist was cleared in March after missing all of last season with a foot injury. If Bishop falters, or this hamstring injury lingers, it'd be nice to have some experience to fall back on. Williams would provide that so long as he's in shape and ready to return. After beginning his NFL career as an undrafted rookie with the Cleveland Browns in 2014, the 33-year-old defensive back really came into his own with the San Francisco 49ers from 2017 through 2021, starting 36 regular season games. His most recent season was spent with the Denver Broncos in 2022. Tally all that up and Williams has appeared in over 100 regular season contests, starting 54 of them. He's broken up 34 passes over that span with 5 interceptions, 11 forced fumbles, 8.0 sacks, and 23 tackles for a loss. As a member of the Niners organization, Williams also appeared in 6 playoff outings, starting 3 of them. He broke up 4 passes in the playoffs with 1 interception, 1 forced fumble, 1.0 sack and 1 tackle for a loss. Williams is older now and coming off a year on the sidelines, but he could at least be worth a tryout. After all, Steelers beat reporter Mark Kaboly reported that Pittsburgh could still go shopping in the slot if Bishop doesn't show he's ready during the final weeks of preseason on August 16. Following the second preseason game, Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin told reporters that the team decided to hold Bishop out against the Buffalo Bills after his hamstring limited him during joint practices. Beanie was a little bit limited on our last workday here on Thursday against Buffalo, so we didn't want a small problem to become a big problem, he said. Obviously, the sand's going through the hourglass and he's got a big week ahead of him, the Steelers HC acknowledged, but we didn't want to jeopardize or compromise that, so we did what we thought was prudent tonight and didn't allow him to participate. While Tomlin's update hints that Bishop should be back practicing this week, it also alludes that the slot cornerback job is not one. The first-year UDFA has a big week ahead of him. Does that mean the Steelers could still consider bringing in a veteran to replace him as the starter? And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Kwaun Williams? Leave your opinion in the comments.